You know that old saying, right? Don't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first rule of reading. The first thing they tell you.
It is. And honestly, I think it's terrible advice.
Completely. I mean, especially in the case of what we're looking at today.
Oh, for sure.
Because today,
Man.
we aren't reading the book. We are only judging the cover.
Yep.
We're looking at the jacket design for Inglorious Empire by Shashi Tharoor.
Yeah.
And looking at this thing, I think you could skip all 300 pages inside and still get the main idea.
That is not an exaggeration at all. This cover is... It's a masterclass in visual argument.
Right.
It isn't just packaging for the book. It's a manifesto. It's a whole historical thesis laid out before you even open page 1.
So for everyone listening, I want you to really visualize this with us. It's a vertical design.
Yeah.
It's stark. It's almost aggressive.
It is.
And it forces your eye to do something really uncomfortable. It pulls you up towards this sort of heavenly image and then drags you right down into the mud.
It's a study in duality. High and low, clean and messy. It's designed to make you feel a specific kind of tension.
Okay, so let's start with the first thing that really hits you. And it's not the picture, it's the words. Right in the center, this massive, blocky title, Inglorious Empire.
And the typography here is doing so much work. I mean, look at that font choice.
Yeah.
It's a Sashu font, very traditional, very upright. It looks like it was carved into stone on a government building in, London or New Delhi.
It feels permanent. It feels like the establishment. It's not a font you'd use for a novel. It looks like a monument.
Precisely. And if you just saw the word empire in that font, your brain would immediately think, stability, tradition, maybe even majesty.
Sure.
It uses the visual language of authority. But then the designer just slaps the word inglorious right in front of it.
It's like a poison pill. You take this word empire, which is supposed to mean glory, and you just you negate it instantly.
Exactly.
It's not the bad empire or the failed empire. Inglorious is. It's a moral judgment. It means shame.
It means a stripping away of honor. And by using that stately official font, the cover is doing something so clever.
What's that?
It's using the empire's own voice to condemn itself.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if this were written in some, jagged spray paint font, it would feel like a protest from the outside.
Right, like a punk rock album or something.
Exactly. But this looks like an internal memo.
Yeah.
It looks like a formal verdict from a judge. It says, "We have measured this institution by its own standards, and we found it wanting." It uses the aesthetics of the Raj to dismantle the reputation of the Raj.
That is such a power move. And speaking of verdicts, let's look at the subtitle. Right underneath, in red, what the British did to India.
I love that you pointed that out. The grammar is a design choice.
How so?
Well, most history books use a passive framing. You'll see titles like The British in India or The History of British India.
The British in India sounds like a travelogue.
Right.
Like they were just passing through, had some tea, and things just happened.
It implies a state of being. It's static. But look at the subtitle, What the British Did to India. That is an active construction.
Subject, verb, object.
Exactly. Subject, British. Verb, did. Object, India. It implies agency. It implies culpability.
It sounds like an indictment. It frames the book not as a history lesson, but as, a crime scene investigation.
That's the perfect analogy. And if this is a crime scene, we need to look at the whole picture. The visual hierarchy, the way the image is stacked gets really interesting here. Let's look at the top third of the cover.
The shiny part.
The shiny part.
Dominating that whole top half is this massive jeweled crown. It looks like the imperial state crown. It's got the purple velvet, the gold arches. It is heavy with jewels, the kind of thing you see behind bulletproof glass.
It is the ultimate symbol of the British monarchy and, by extension, the Raj. But look at what's behind it. It's not just sitting in space.
No, there are these radiating lines like a starburst that looks like a halo or the sun.
That's a classic motif. You see it in religious art, but also in imperial propaganda. It evokes that old saying, the sun never sets on the British Empire.
Right.
It suggests the crown is, divinely ordained, a source of enlightenment. It creates this aura of benevolence.
It's also very clean. So much white space around it. If you just covered the bottom half of the book, you'd think this was a pro-monarchy coffee table book.
Exactly.
It's seductive. It's orderly.
And that's the trap. That top half represents the myth. It's the story the empire told about itself. We bring order, we bring civilization, we are the light of the world. It's polished, it's abstract. There are no people there, just gold and velvet and light.
But gravity works on book covers, too. Your eye just naturally falls downward.
Yeah.
And the second it crosses that title, the world changes completely.
The abstraction just collapses. We leave the realm of symbols and we enter the realm of reality.
We go from a clean graphic of a crown to this gritty, messy painting. It looks like a 19th century battle scene. It's crowded. It's chaotic.
It's likely a depiction of one of the colonial wars, maybe the Mutiny of 1857. And the contrast is just, it's violent.
It is.
Up top, you have gold and purple and white. Down here, it's brown mud, gray smoke, and deep red.
I'm looking at the details in the painting now. You can see the red coats, the British soldiers. They're right in the thick of it. There are cannons, horses rearing up, and then there are the Indian figures.
Yeah.
They aren't posing.
Yeah.
They are on the ground. Some look like they're being trampled. There are bodies in the dirt.
This is the reality to counter the myth from above. And notice the structural relationship. Where's the crown sitting?
Well, visually, it's sitting on top of the title.
Right.
And the title is sitting on top of the battle.
It's a foundation. The design is making a physical argument. The crown rests on the carnage.
Wow.
The gold and the jewels at the top are supported by the bodies at the bottom.
That is deeply disturbing when you see it that way. It's implying you can't have the pretty thing without the ugly thing.
You can't.
The glory is literally built on a foundation of violence. The crown doesn't just float there. It stands on something.
Yeah.
And that something is a battlefield.
It creates this cognitive dissonance. You want to look at the shiny objects. We're all wired to like shiny things, but your peripheral vision is filled with smoke and death. It forces you to acknowledge the cost.
It reminds me of the engine room on a luxury liner.
Go on.
You know, the top deck is all cocktails and dancing, but down below you have people sweating, shoveling coal into a furnace. This cover just rips the deck away and shows you the engine.
And connects them. Look at the color red again.
Right.
You have the red text in the subtitle, what the British did to India. And then, in the painting, what are the only bright pops of color?
The red of the British soldiers' uniforms. The red coats.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. I didn't connect that. So your eye reads British in red and then immediately jumps to the guys in red coats with the guns.
It's a subtle but powerful visual link. It identifies the perpetrators. It breaks the abstraction. The British Empire isn't just lines on a map. It's that specific guy in the red coat pointing a bayonet. It grounds the political concept in physical violence.
It makes the British, in the title, a physical threat. It's not just a nationality, it's a uniform.
Precisely. It turns the abstract political entity into a concrete physical force.
Okay, let's talk about the vertical story here. We've got the crown, the title, the battle. But there's one more element right at the very top.
The author's name, Shashi Tharoor.
It's huge. It's almost as big as the title itself.
And in visual hierarchy, the top center is the position of maximum authority. It's where you'd put God or the king or the state crest.
Right.
By placing his name there above the crown, the design is making a really bold statement about power dynamics.
It feels like he's the judge we talked about earlier.
He is. He is the observer. He is looking down at this entire structure, the crown, the myth, the violence, and he's the one passing that verdict. Inglorious.
It's a reclamation, isn't it? For centuries, the dynamic was the British looking down on India, judging it, ruling it. This cover flips the script.
It does.
Now, an Indian voice is at the top, analyzing the British system.
It asserts control over the narrative. It says, I am not just a subject of this history, I am the narrator of it. It's a powerful inversion of that colonial gaze. The subject becomes the historian.
You know, looking at the crown again, now that we've talked about the bottom half and the author's position, the crown looks different to me.
How so?
At first, it looked majestic. Now it just looks oblivious.
Oblivious. I like that.
It's just floating there in its own little bubble of light, completely disconnected from the chaos underneath it. It looks arrogant.
That isolation is key. The cover is arguing that the empire spent so much time looking at itself in the mirror, admiring its own crown, that it willfully ignored the reality on the ground.
Or worse.
Or worse, it considered the reality on the ground irrelevant to its own glory.
It's the disconnect between the boardroom and the factory floor, just scaled up to a global level.
Yeah.
The management sees the stock price, which is the crown, and the workers see the unsafe conditions, which is the battle.
And notice what isn't on the cover. There are no famous faces. No Queen Victoria, no Gandhi, no Nehru.
That's true. It's all symbols and masses, not one recognizable individual.
Which suggests this isn't a biography. It's not about great men making decisions. It's about systems.
Yeah.
The crown is a system. The army is a system. The violence is a result of the system. It depersonalizes the history to focus on the machinery of empire.
Which, honestly, probably makes the argument scarier. It's harder to fight a system than a single villain.
A villain you can defeat, a system you have to dismantle. The argument is structural. It's not saying this one bad governor did bad things. It's saying the crown itself, the institution, is the problem.
The rot is in the design.
Yes.
So if we step back and just look at this as a whole, you're walking through a bookstore and you see this on a shelf. What is it telling you to expect from the book inside?
It's a warning label. It's telling you this book is going to be a polemic.
Okay.
It's not going to be a gentle, on the one hand, on the other hand, kind of history. It's going to be sharp. It's going to be accusatory.
It's preparing you for a fight. It's rolling up its sleeves.
It is, and it's training you how to read the book. It's telling you, every time you read about a shiny new railway being built, look for the bloody taxes that paid for it. It primes your brain to look for the cost behind the benefit.
It's basically a lesson in media literacy. It's teaching you how to read history before you even read the history.
Which is something we desperately need, right? We're surrounded by symbols of power logos, flags, statues. This cover teaches us a method of interrogation.
Interrogation is the right word. You have to interrogate the image. You can't just let it wash over you.
Right. You have to ask, what is this symbol sitting on? What's hiding in the foundation? If you see a skyscraper, don't just look at the glass, look at the shadow it casts.
I think that's the big takeaway for everyone listening. The next time you're scrolling online or you're in a library, don't just glaze over the cover art. Stop and decode it.
Treat it like a puzzle. Ask yourself, what's big, what's small, what's on top, what's underneath? The designer put those things there for a reason.
And usually, that reason is to sell you an idea, not just a book.
The cover is always the first argument. If you understand the cover, you're halfway to understanding the book.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a thought experiment you mentioned to me earlier. You talked about flipping the image.
Right. And I think this is crucial. Imagine if the layout were reversed. Imagine if the people, the crowd, the chaos were at the top and the crown was crushed at the bottom, broken in the mud.
That would be a very different book.
That
That
would
would be a victory lap.
That would be a book about revolution,
Well,
about the end of empire, the triumph of the people. But this cover, it keeps the crown on top.
oh, I see where you're going with this.
Even though it exposes the violence, it admits that the structure of power is still visually intact.
Yeah.
The crown is still sitting there, heavy and golden. The weight of history is still pressing down.
So the Inglorious Empire isn't just something that happened in the past. It's a weight that's still being felt. The crown hasn't been smashed.
The hierarchy hasn't been toppled. We're just finally looking at it clearly. The book is an attempt to expose the foundation, but the weight of that history, that remains.
That is a heavy thought to end on. But I guess that's the point. You're supposed to feel the weight. You're supposed to feel the pressure of that crown.
Exactly.
Well, consider us properly weighed down. This has been a fascinating look at how much you can say without really saying a word.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, or in this case, maybe 300 pages of colonial history.
We'll leave it there. Keep your eyes open, everyone. Dig beneath the shiny stuff, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.